the camera. Give it off, down.
Greetings, screen readers, and welcome to the month of October. This is by far my favorite month of the year, due in no small part to the autumnal atmosphere, the shortening of the days, and of course, the ramp up to my favorite holiday of the year, Halloween. Maybe it's just because I'm a bit of a junkie for horror flicks, monster movies, supernatural thrillers, and all the other creepy, kooky, altogether ooky films that seem so very, very appropriate for this 31-day span of the year. Now, to kick the month off right, I decided to pick one of my favorite satanic thrillers of the last couple of decades for an episode of Defending Your Movie. This movie features a much beloved or much reviled personality in the director's chair, one of the top actors of our generation, and a plot so slow-burning and oddly toned that many people simply couldn't handle what this movie was putting down. I'm of course talking about Roman Polanski's year 2000 film, The Ninth Gate. Now, the problem people seem to primarily have with The Ninth Gate is that it's not exactly a thriller, per se. Though there are some illusions of tension and a few jumpy moments here and there, Polanski's handling of the material, which is based on Arturo Pérez Reverte's novel El Club du Mas, suggests a more ironic and surreal approach than your standard satanic thriller. Polanski is a master of a tone that I like to refer to as a sort of whimsical dread, if you will.
Oh, Jesus.
People are getting killed, mysteries of the devil are swirling about, and yet everyone moves to this movie kind of jauntily and sarcastically, like they simply know how ridiculous it all is and choose to treat it as such. A lot of people really hated that about this movie, but I rather loved it. The story of The Ninth Gate centers around an eponymous book, a 15th century text reported to have been co-authored by the devil himself, a text that reportedly nearly vanished after the bulk of its copies, along with its human author, were burned at the stake. Johnny Depp plays Dean Corso, a shambolic, frumpy mess of a rare book dealer who's best known for his underhanded tactics in acquiring the books his clients desire.
This 4-volume edition of Don Quixote is quite nice, but not particularly valuable. Now, I could take it off your hands.
Corso is hired by the enigmatic and window-faced Boris Balkan, played by the always awesome Frank Langella. Balkan has recently come into possession of a copy of the text, and he hires Corso to travel to Europe and track down the last 2 remaining copies. Corso is reticent, but agrees to the job at Balkan's prodding and, of course, his checkbook.
If all 3 copies turn out to be bogus or incomplete, your work will be done. If, on the other hand, one of them turns out to be genuine, I'll finance you further. I want you to get it for me. At all costs. Never mind how.
Never mind how sounds illegal.
Wouldn't be the first time you've done something illegal.
Not that illegal.
Hence the size of the check.
It doesn't take long for things to start going kind of crazy, as people begin dying around him almost immediately, and strange characters begin to enter the scene. One such character is Lena Olin's Liana Telfer, who claims that Balkan's copy was her late husband's and that it must have been stolen. She seems kind of femme fatale enough at the beginning, and then at some point just goes straight up fatal. Then another strange woman appears, a French-accented mystique played flatly by Polanski's real-life wife, Emmanuelle Signer. Her frumpy dress and mismatched socks seem to identify as some kind of college student, but her penchant for showing up at all the right times and, well, occasionally flying around seem to suggest something a little bit more sinister. Now, things really start going haywire after Corso starts engaging the other collectors and discovers a hidden truth about the 3 copies of The Ninth Gate. Each book features 9 engravings, purportedly sketched by the original author. However, in each book, 3 differ slightly from the others and bear the initials LCF. LCF for Lucifer.
You can't honestly believe
The man who wrote this book is so in alliance with the devil and went to the stake for it. Even hell has its heroes, senor.
To get much deeper into the plot beyond this would be, frankly, criminal, because so much of my enjoyment from The Ninth Gate is derived from the film's slow burn methodology of letting the audience in bit by bit on the nature of these mysteries. Polanski is in no rush as he establishes this weird, obsessive world of shady book collectors and the supernatural elements surrounding this particular text. In lesser hands, this pace might have led to a colossal bore, but Polanski is a master of creating unease and dread out of just like the simplest shots. Every shot of Depp chain-smoking or drinking scotch feels like it's about to be interrupted by some peculiar assault or unpleasant phone call, leading him to an even worse situation than the last.
Right now, do you hear me? Right now.
Yes? Still there? Yeah. Yes? Yes.
At the same time, Polanski does a fairly deft job of mixing the film's more traditional thriller elements with a bit of macabre black comedy. Death scenes are often slightly goofy, fights feel realistically awkward, even the notion of satanic cults are railed on as being kind of ridiculous by characters within the film itself, such as when Balkan appears at this meeting of purported Satanists.
Mambo jumbo, mambo jumbo, mambo jumbo, mambo jumbo.
Through it all, though, it's depth that carries this thing forward. His performance is remarkably subtle, presenting an air of sort of unflappability even as things get progressively weirder and weirder. He's just fun to watch as he snarkily deals with all these bizarre characters that all want a piece of him and goes through this ludicrous plot like some kind of bibliophile detective. Now, by no means is The Ninth Gate perfect. As it winds to a close, it loses more than a bit of steam, and Signer's presence, while amusing when she's throwing down absurd karate moves on albino black guys, is less welcome when she actually speaks.
Don't be so picky. Some people would give their teeth for a ride in this. Are you on a business trip? Is that why you always carry that thing around? For the other killings. You should be grateful.
I'm ecstatic.
You're out of a job, it's over. What more do you want?
Regardless of what you might think of the man's personal life, there's no denying that Polanski is a master filmmaker. A lot of people seem to simply dismiss The Ninth Gate on the merits that it, wasn't Rosemary's Baby all over again. I think that's an incredibly unfair stance when you take into account what a well-crafted and delightfully mysterious piece of filmmaking this movie truly is.
Watch out.
I didn't know you had it in you.
And that's going to do it for another edition of Defending Your Movie. As always, we want to hear what you think about this film, as well as any other thrillers, horror flicks, or supernatural mysteries you might love that the masses have otherwise shunned. Hit up the comments and tell us what you think. Once again, I've been Alex Navarro, and I'll see you on the other side.